Three, two, we're live. Hello, best days. Welcome to our October live show for Black Veins by Asia Monet. I hope we're just gonna wait for y'all to trickle in. I'm gonna look at the
think it's Ashaya.
comments.
Is it Ashaya?
Is it
That was
Ashaya or
Asia.
Aisha?
Or Aisha.
Pretty sure it's Asia.
First point of discussion already in motion.
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
sorry. It's
No,
been a
I
long
know
time.
it's Asia because Nina was in a group chat with her and she said it was Asia. So I'm going with Asia.
Look how pretty this book is.
Right? No, dead ass. Ace, if I find a copy, I'll send it to you.
At least I might send you my copy.
I have this
I already know what that means, Blake. I already know what that means.
I still appreciate this copy. It makes it mysterious.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Let's just go do some introductions again, as we've been doing for the past 2 live shows to introduce ourselves. Youngest to oldest, or youngest.
That's an attack.
Okay.
I've been called out.
No, you haven't. Alphabetical order. Ace, you're up.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ace. I haven't been very active in any social medias, but I'm back, and hopefully I'll stay back. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Blake, the book eater, and I'm in the same position as Ace because my computer was crapped out for months and I wasn't able to make any videos or content, but I'm making my way back. So yeah, starting with this.
Hi, I'm Matthew. You can find me on social media at my name, Matthew Sharapa. I do a lot more on Instagram these days than the booktubes, but I'm still around. I'm still kicking. We're thriving. Maybe. Not really. Everything's good.
Hi, I'm
Okay.
Tiana. I blame everyone's bad mood on Scorpio season. That's all I'm saying. Scorpio season is trash. This is my channel. Obviously, if you're here, you know what we're doing here. I make content that might make you laugh, cry, dealer's choice. Twitter, Twitter is crazy right now, to be honest. Instagram, I'm primarily on Instagram at the moment because YouTube, it's taken me 3 days to upload one video, so we're just rolling with the punches right now. So, let's get into the non-spoiler sections, shall we? Alphabetical order. Star ratings and initial thoughts before going into this book.
Okay. So I knew nothing about this book except that people kept saying how it has a very big found family trope. And so that's the only thing I knew about it. I did not have any initial thoughts besides that. I rated it a 4 out of 5. So that's it.
And what are your initial thoughts with the found
I
family?
didn't have any initial thoughts because I didn't know anything about it.
Got it. Okay. So, confession time. I have not finished this book yet. I am halfway through. I thought I allotted myself enough time, but my week got crazy and I wasn't able to finish it. Okay, I'll give you like a update how it is so far. It's sitting at like a 2.5 star for me right now. I went into this book I knew that it was like a road trip novel and like it was very queer. That's all I knew about it. And yeah, we'll get into more of my thoughts later. But yeah, it's kind of I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to read this book.
Blake, don't worry. I also gave this book 2 stars. I didn't know much going into it, but I had kind of assumed based on the cover of it that we were going to get like a super dynamic cast of characters. I thought it was going to be like fit for fandom, just given kind of like the very different dress and styling of each of the characters, at least in the artwork of the anniversary edition. So I went in kind of like seeking characters. I was granted that for sure. But I struggled with many other parts of the book. So we will talk about it. But Tiana, your turn.
I agree with both of you and Blake about how it was a struggle to get through. I was like, oh, I'm going to finish down like a day. I'll be fine. The first 90 pages, I was like, this is slow. This is boring. And I feel like it was because we were with Blythe for so much of the book. We couldn't really expand into other characters' thought processes and like emotions and stuff. Or I was like, girl, I'm sick of you. I appreciate you, but at the same time, no, it's no for me. It's sitting at 3 stars. Primarily that third stars is for the ace rep. That's it. I'm being completely honest. It's where you see that in fantasy. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts. It's very much
Wow.
no, because I was just like, well, so I knew there was a road trip because of the freaking van on the back of the book, and I knew it was like a wide cast of characters. But the thing that I'm realizing with characters and like a large cast, especially with Eternals, no spoilers, you have to take time to develop those characters and ground your characters, and I didn't feel that a wee bit. So that's where that 2-star comes in for me as well.
Well, it's actually interesting because I just saw Eternals last night and one of my friends hated it and I actually really liked it. So again, the divide.
We'll talk after. We'll talk after.
No, we will. But what I'm saying is, at least in my opinion, I think Eternals did a better job at establishing character and also not. I'm because I'm like almost 200 pages in and I feel like I'm just being fed exposition and it doesn't feel natural. Like that's the thing, because like you can do exposition and you can have heavy exposition and you can have an entire character whose entire purpose is just exposition, and that's okay. But like I think that the way that it was done, at least in the first half of the book where I am, it feels so forced. Like it's a lot of telling and not showing. So I'm like hearing about things, but I'm not like feeling it, and I feel like I still don't have a good grasp of the world because like everything is just told to me like it's history, blah 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 blah, and it's just like yeah.
That was one of my questions. I'm pulling up right now. Believe it or not.
I mean, I can riff. I'm ready to go.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Let me just find it. In terms of magic systems and understanding the world, how do we grapple with understanding the world of Blythe and the ragtag gang live in? Because it was a lot of telling and not showing for me. So if y'all want to just rip it off.
So I want to talk about the writing, which was my main issue with this book. It is very clear that this book did not have an editor. Or if they did, perhaps a second pass would be worthwhile. I first noticed it right at the beginning of the book, that while there were some lovely descriptive moments, while I think that their use of language occasionally flourished, we would get things like this. It's at the very beginning, whenever Blythe's siblings are at the top of the stairs and they come down to like see Blythe. I screenshotted it because it made me very frustrated. So, busted. Blythe's little sisters shuffled into the light. Identical 9-year-olds with identically brown skin, curly ponytails, and pouting faces. We wanted to make sure Blythe was okay, Lily whispers. And what's her excuse? First of all, italicized, which that bothers me. Don't tell me how to read. Blythe eyes Lena, the more boisterous one who has never once cared about Blythe's well-being. Lena rocks on the balls of her feet. I just want to know how to get to the roof. Typical. Okay, here's the thing. We're told that she has twin sisters. We're told that they are different from one another. We are told that one of them specifically cares about Blythe and one of them specifically doesn't care about Blythe. We are then shown through dialogue those two different versions of themselves, and then Blythe reflects on those two different versions of themselves. Like within that tiny chunk, we get hammered in this very like simple fact. What that scene could have been is the sisters come up. One says the one-liner about worrying about Blythe. The other says the other one-liner about wanting to know how to get to the roof. We would have known all that information. You don't need to tell me that one sister doesn't care about her when you're immediately going to show it in dialogue. And the minute that happened, and I was just like, oh no, like that like sparked in my brain. And I was like, oh no, is this what we're going to get? And the rest of the book really did kind of follow suit, where no character speaks like a human in this book. No expository thought that Blythe has feels in any way organic or natural. And a lot of the information we are given multiple times over to drive home points.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not Aisha's like poor writing. It is an editing problem. Like that is like, because any one of those versions of events happening would have been perfectly fine. It's just a matter of whittling it down to choose one. And I feel like that kept happening throughout the book, which is why I think, to what Blake was saying, it was a slog to get through, at least in the beginning especially. Just because we don't need it.
Ace, I want to know your thoughts because you really liked it.
Right.
Oh, well, I think I really liked it just because of the vibes, and I'm a sucker for found family trope. So that's the only reason why I rated it 4 stars. But I will admit, like, throughout the book, I was very lost and confused at times because there just wasn't a lot going on at times. And I'll be honest, like, the characters sometimes felt very middle school. Like, they're characters that I would find in a middle grade book. And so that's why I kind of liked it, just because there was some feeling of comfort with the characters. But other than that, the plot wasn't really getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Also, can we talk? Speaking of middle school, can we talk about that Daniel? He's 14. He acts like he's 7.
yeah, that's what I mean. And
I-
Antonio, he talks like he's like 12 or something, but he's
Well,
isn't he like
also, okay, to what you said, Ace, you said like not a lot's happening. I'm finding the opposite. There's a lot going on, but it's too much. Like there isn't enough time to sit in like a moment. Like there'll be a battle, there'll be something, somebody gets injured, they meet a new villain, and you just clip by, and it doesn't give it enough time or weight to sink in and like really feel that, you know. It's like, because
yeah.
like I just read some other books, and it's like, there'll be this one thing that happens, and it causes ripple effects throughout the entire book, and so you feel like there was a reason for that event to happen. You felt that there's payoff to
Yes, yes.
in this. I just feel like there's payoff, and there's just like no setup. There's no like setting things up for later down the line. And again, I'm only halfway through the book, so I can't speak to how it ends or like how it finishes, but like as of right now, I'm just like, I'm constantly being introduced to like new things and new people, but none of them are really sticking. Like I literally, every time I open the book, I have to remind myself of who the characters are, because
that
I
wasn't
don't
that
no,
wasn't just
because I don't think they're well defined enough. Like and the voices kind of blend together sometimes,
I just want to add that, like, not only does so much action take place that we are told is happening, but don't necessarily actually get to experience happening, there's so much off screen going on that I do find it overwhelming to follow at times. Like, the characters are in these kind of like personal, isolated, events, great, but there's also like larger world building and crazy war scenarios happening that I'm just kind of like, it's too much. My brain can't right now.
I think to me, this book would have benefited from multiple POVs, just because like Blythe is our main character, and that's whose head we're stuck in. But I think it would have been cool to like maybe get some POVs of the other people she's meeting on the road trip before they're introduced. Like, like some like scenes of like them fighting, or like introduced to Cordelia like first off page, like before they meet up or something, just to give us more of a sense of how they think and how they feel, because most of what we're like observing about the characters is what Blythe is observing about the characters, and that's not always who the characters are. And also I just find Blythe really annoying.
Oh my god. That was such a big issue for me, how she gets upset when people don't follow her.
Well,
like
also,
she tries to
he consistently makes the dumbest decision. And like, I understand you're the main character. You got to move the story along somehow. I get that. But there are times I'm just like, you were so in your head about this. And also, I don't know if it's just me, but I felt like this book, at least so far, is very, very tropey. Like I feel like it's ripped a lot from like Harry Potter, from like the Shadowhunters stuff. Like it feels like a bunch of different YA poured into a pot, and then that's what you know what I mean?
It kind of reminded me a bit of like Heroes of Olympus, like the last book, because that last book wasn't that good at all.
I haven't read it.
That last book reminded me of this book. Like it was mostly purely like vibes and the characters, and not very plot driven at all.
So going into my next question, in this book, it's unapologetically diverse. Where or what characters stood out from others and others that didn't? Like what characters like, oh yeah, I'm like, this is a very distinct character. We're popping. Others just like, this is in development. Let's exclude Daniel from this for just reasons.
I I like that this book made a very active effort to point out where each character comes from, what their perspective on the world is. I think that that is a wonderful thing for a book to do. Was it seamless? Was it naturally evoked? Absolutely not.
No.
I don't think it was necessarily trying to either. I think this was like a very deliberate, like, I want to write a book for so many people. And I was willing to forgive what was very clumsy about it for the sake of being able to see so many like lovely things be represented. I have a kind of mixed feeling about it in terms of just like, I don't think anybody was particularly developed in a way that I was satisfied with, because most conversations wouldn't go the way that Asia made conversations happen. Like, most people wouldn't talk about themselves or think about themselves in the way that these characters do, because that's not like really human.
Right.
But for the sake of telling us something that we get to experience, I'm kind of okay with it. I don't know. Mixed feelings.
There was like, specifically when they started like making like jokes. Also, a lot of the humor has not landed for me so far. It pulls me out every single time. But like specifically like when they make jokes about like their identities or things like that, that I just it feels awkward. Also, like I do appreciate. I love how diverse the cast is, and I haven't even met everybody yet. They literally just met Antonio. Like that's. I am missing probably on like 2 or 3 people on the cover that I have not met yet. So I don't know that. But what I do know is so far, and like, it almost feels like a checklist. And I hate saying that, because I don't think people's sexualities or like how diverse a book is, you know, like, because some people like they'll be like, this book is too woke, it's a checklist, and that's not what I'm saying at all. Like I mean, I love books with diversity, and I do love the effort at diversity here, but a lot of the times I don't think the characters' identities really developed beyond their base personality or like their base, like what they were assigned. Like, you know, like Jamie is the non-binary character. Antonio is like the like Hispanic or Puerto Rican like comic relief character. And like God, what's her name? Cordelia is like the bitchy Asian character. Like there's just like, and so far they haven't really subverted that. And so it just feels a little awkward.
Especially because, like, conceptually,
I haven't finished the book. I haven't finished the book. So, I mean,
I don't think you're misreading anything thus far. I mean, like, I think especially like conceptually, it does make sense to have a diverse cast as this when these are like the pinnacle Guardian. Like, I don't know. There's like something to be said about like chosen one narratives, people feeling like structurally it does make sense. It's just not earned in a human way. It's earned in a story way to me, but not quite like an execution.
Right. Especially since there's a formula to meeting characters and like having those plot turning moments that keep the plot going, where you meet new characters to expand your worldview and what's going on in the book. And I feel like we couldn't get more of that in this book for reasons unknown to us. We don't know the editing process whatsoever, but it's just like it was a clear debut novel. And I say that politely because there are ways to tweak this book to read easier and to read in a more entertaining way, but then you fall into this trap of pop culture jokes where I'm just like, I'm baby. I couldn't watch HP till I was like 14. So I'm just like, I don't understand half of these references, so help me out.
Also, like there are so many like sorry, my brain.
You're fine.
Like the phone, I mean, I get, you know, but she talks about androids and she has like magic phones and like there's a whole magic. It like this, like the world building didn't make sense to me. I kept trying to like make it make sense. I was like, oh, there's this one magic TV show that everybody watches. There's like magic stuff. And then like there's like magic orbs. And then people are basically like the avatar of the element. And but it's just so. And then I didn't even understand what a guardian was until like 150 pages in. And
I still don't know.
Really?
Like, she's like, it's so important that I'm a guardian. And then Blythe is confused as to what a guardian is. I'm like, you've been a guardian your whole life. Have you never known? And then she like I don't. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Shall we go to the next question?
Yes.
Give me one moment to pull it up. My bad, my phone cut off. In our inaugural book pick, The House in the Cerulean Sea, we got to have this nice, warm, loving family and found family trope. In our other books, we didn't really have that. I would say like a tight-knit family with like a strong, healthy family boundaries. What was this like with Blythe's family, her biological family, and the found family we saw in this book? What feelings were invoked for us seeing this in this book? Ace, you want to go? Because you really like
Ace, you look like you have thoughts.
I don't know anymore. I feel like I'm enjoying too much vibes and looking at it in
That's
a bigger
okay.
picture now.
It's okay. It's okay.
I know.
We should preface this. Each of us critique books differently. Vibes.
100%. 100% we do. Like
some books invoke that. So
I feel like Ace always, she's like, yeah, I liked it. And then we start talking about it. She's like, did I like it? I'm like,
Wait,
Ace, if you
okay.
liked it, it's okay.
I mean, I liked it because I haven't really finished a book in a while. So I feel like this was like, it took me kind of out of my reading slump because it was kind of easy to read through, but also not really. I will say, looking at it now, the found family trope really does remind me of like Percy Jackson, but it definitely needs more books to develop it well, because like they keep showing, well, I don't know what page Blake is on, but throughout the book can you check?
Yeah, I'm on page 176. They're on their way to meet
Holy crap.
Storm Crane.
Oh, well, there's just a lot of times with the Guardians where they'll say, oh, I'm so sad this person left, or like, so sad this person is going to be leaving, or so sad this happened to this, blah, blah, blah. And we don't really get to see how they develop that relationship. It's just suddenly, oh, they're sad about this happening. And we never see them getting close or anything like that, because all we see is they meet up, some action happens, and they have to leave, go find another Guardian. That's been the same like formula throughout the book. So I would say it was close to the found family trope. It felt kind of forced because we get these happy moments and then it's like it doesn't feel genuine just because they haven't even been together for a very long time. And also, I don't like how, again, Blythe really expects them to like do this for her, like do everything for her and like follow what she says. And it just doesn't add up how they do follow her. Like they just do it anyways.
I would have liked, sorry, I don't want to speak over you.
No, it's okay.
I would have liked if like there was like a cool like missing memories thing, like they like met up every summer to like practice their like guardianship.
Yeah.
They mentioned that like their families knew each other, but it's just been like.
But so it doesn't work as a found family because Blythe already has a family. Blythe already has like a very clearly loving family that has a very interesting, complex dynamic amongst itself. And so like found family tropes are so satisfying because they feature characters who have been outcast or abandoned or never really had a family to call their own. And then they find family in something that is not biological, right? Like that is the classic queer, especially trope of a found family. And this is a very queer story, but with all of the elements still there, to where a found family is just kind of like an extra bonus family, which like I guess rock out, but like it doesn't really create the satisfaction and joy of the found family because Blythe doesn't need like healing in that area of her life.
Right.
So I found it incredibly dissatisfying as a found family story because like she loves her, she gets both. And most people who need found families don't get both.
Right. So do you think, well, we all know Blythe needs friends. So what trope?
Well, okay, so
friendship.
I feel like the found family trope applies to the other characters besides maybe Antonio, only because the other characters do feel some sort of disconnect towards their families, especially Cordelia, especially actually Blake hasn't met Caspian.
But you know what? I don't think this book is gonna surprise me when I'm going to finish it. I'm planning on finishing it. Because it has been a fast read. So I'm gonna finish it, but I'm not really invested. I want to be, but it's
really hard to get invested. Honestly, I read it.
I was just saying there's no stakes. Like, we're being captured, But like, okay, the government can help you do that, but there's no higher stake.
Okay,
You know?
can we talk
Yeah.
about something? So let me just
The cat scared me. Oh my god.
sorry. So I spent the first like 50 pages being like, oh, I'm excited because they set this up like, there's this mysterious like figure taking their family, but then there's this war and everybody's blaming the Tritons or whatever. How fucking disappointed I was that it was actually the goddamn Tritons or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I have, maybe there's a twist later, but like, it's just like, yes, the Tritons are the bad guys and like they're kind of rebels. So maybe they have good motives, but they're the bad guys. And also the eraser things, the basically Dementors, they don't even follow their own goddamn rules. When they're set up, they're like, oh, you talk to anybody about magic. And then Blythe is like, they're following me around. They've been following me around for years. I'm like, what the fuck? What the goddamn fuck? I just, sorry.
Yeah, I don't understand
Yeah,
that. Like,
I do- oh
wait,
God.
does anyone get why they were following her? Because I don't
No.
like. I thought they didn't break any magical rules or anything. I thought that
Well,
only
she's like,
happens if
my
you
family's
do.
had to move around and run away from the erasers before. I'm like, why? That doesn't make sense with the rules that you set them up. Like, if it was like they're hunting the most powerful magic
That would make
families, then I'd
It
be
would have
like,
been so
Yeah.
simple to make it that way.
I think
I just
they kind of
Make-
explained it towards the end, but it still didn't add up because it doesn't make sense that they were following them for her entire life, basically.
also the thing about Blythe, like, she's like finally opening at the beginning of the novel. She's finally opening up to Jamie, and letting them be friends with her. And she's been in one place for 3 years. She's like, oh, I've moved, month after month. And she's been there for 3 years and she hasn't made friends once. And she's like, oh, I'm moving again. And I don't know. Her whole character conflict seemed very self-imposed. And so it was hard for me to care about her problems. This sounds really harsh, but like a lot of them were like her fault.
That is true, though. It is true.
And she wasn't like proactive in this. And maybe she'll, character growth. We love character growth. So I'm hoping to see her character grow. And also I think this is a cast of characters and a world that could be better fleshed out in the sequel going forward. I mean, I haven't finished the book, so I'm just going to keep saying that because I don't know how it's going to end. I will update you guys on my
update for the sequel. There's no update for the sequel whatsoever. So we're just chilling with the first one.
Well, yeah, but I know that she's writing it, but the thing is, I just hope that like the time and effort is taken to really develop these characters more and give them more deeper personalities, as well as flesh out just the world as a whole. Because I think there are some unique ideas in here, but a lot of them just feel they're executed very like derivatively, where it's just hard for me to care because I feel like a lot of the time when I'm seeing these. Because I mean, we read a lot of books, so we know, and we've seen so many spinoffs of the Hunger Games, spinoffs of Divergent, spinoff of the Harry Potter, that kind of stuff. But like, I feel like in a lot of ones that kind of riff off those existing properties, they find like unique ways to do it, and this doesn't really feel unique. I mean, the most unique thing about it, I think, is that it's queer. It's like very queer, and it's a road trip. But besides that, I'm going on a rant.
I feel like this definitely needs like another round of like editing or something, because like with KS Filoso, their books were also published independently at first.
Yeah.
And then they got, I think, bought, or like she got an agent, and then
she sold them before.
Yeah, and then it got more editing, and then it got fleshed out. And like I feel like that could be done with this series. And it would be a lot better. Like it's just the problem is just the lack of editing and how it feels like there's no structure. There's no structure in the book.
No, because like I don't want people to like walk away from this live after watching it thinking that I think that like Aisha's a bad author.
Yeah.
They're not. Like the parts of the writing that are good are really good. The problems with the book lie in just not having a second person to work with in constructing it. Like down to like the line level of problems. Like an editor would have caught that and worked with them on that. Like I don't know. I feel like, yes, if this were to be picked up by a professional editor or, you know, a publishing company, we could see it be fleshed out in a way that is incredibly successful, because there's clearly a really good story here.
Yes.
And in that it could be more unique. When I do agree with Blake that it does pull, like, the references are clear, the inspirations, they're there, we know what they are, and there's no doubt about it. So yeah, I do want to make that distinction. I do think it is majorly an editing problem.
Right. And just to point out what editing can do, Sarah J. Maas, her books were on like a Wattpad platform before something else, to a independent editor, reached out and said, hi, I want to edit your work and get you published. It can happen. KS Veloso, like these things happen. Freaking the author of Atlas 6, Olivia Blake, it's a more traditional route that we're seeing now of being independently published than getting picked up thanks to the internet. And this series has potential. The 4-point-something rating it has on Goodreads can prove that it has potential. It's not a bad book. It just needs more editing to make it a great book.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, you know, and not to discredit independent or self-publishing.
Right.
Because I mean, there's so many benefits to it. A book like this can reach an audience that's going to so attach themselves to individual characters, create fandom and fan art. Like, this is a primed for Tumblr, were this 2007, like, kind of like, it's like, it is very that. Like, I would love to see the fan edit YouTube videos set to Evanescence. Like, F me up, let's go. So like, I think like that's the vibe and I'm for it. I just think that, like, you know, we get some problems here. From like page 1, we had some problems.
That is true.
Felt that. Heard that. Okay, on to my next question. One of the themes in this is bravery, and Blythe throughout the novel shows us what it takes to be brave. What were our favorite moments or least favorite moments of bravery from the gang and from Blythe?
All of Blythe's bravery moments were my least favorite moments. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna say every time that she's brave, she is the dumbest shit. Like, she's like,
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
go straight into danger. Like, what? I just fucking read that part. There was the crow lady, the one who starts the crows out of her hand.
Which that's dope. Like, that's a really cool thing.
No, like, there were cool things in it. Like, I was like, that's cool. And then she's like, I don't even know why she ran. She ran straight at her. And everybody else is like, what the fuck? And then Blythe is like, yeah, why the fuck did I do that? And I'm like, why did you do that?
You don't know, and we
She's
don't.
always running.
Nobody
She's
knows.
always running off on her own. And then she expects the group to just stay there. Even though she's the one who asked them to come with her. Like, why? Why just leave the group?
So
Why
many
not
of the
just-
moments of bravery in the book felt very contrived, in that, like, we're supposed to believe that these are like super magical, wonderful, powerful people, right? Like, these are the elite of the magical world. So to already have to buy into the fact that they are at a disadvantage is hard.
Yeah.
So then to doubt themselves is like another thing. It's just a lot of suspension of disbelief for what is a dramatic moment trying to be in the making.
Gotcha. Mine was when she said, you know what, let's go on a cross-country road trip in a fucking minivan. I said, you know what? Brave.
That is brave.
Gas prices are $4.09 up here. Okay? That is sick.
With no driver's license.
How did they not get caught? How did they not get caught?
She said her dad was teaching her to drive, which, okay, but like, how much money do you have realistically? Every 200 miles of a half a tank of gas. So every half a tank, no.
Well, I mean,
Her
they
driving-
took money from
Katya?
Katya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cordelia's rich too. But they've never had to load up gas. Never. And they've never got caught. Even though they're riding a bright yellow van.
And you know,
Driving.
here's the thing. I'm sure like somebody's gonna hear that and be like, oh, well, like, it's a fantasy novel. We don't need to see them getting gas as part of the road trip. I'm like, you know, would have been a lovely opportunity to have two characters alone to actually get to know each other and unpack a conversation, filling up the tank. That is a fantastic narrative device built into your road
I
trip
know.
novel that you could have taken
And
to
also,
develop these characters
that's
in an
what-
What kind of
authentic way.
snacks do you like? Oh, I like these. Why? My sister could have been so simple.
Tell me
And-
about your love of Swedish fish, and then you can spin it into a childhood narrative about you growing up, and it's so easy and it's right there for the taking.
And
Rose writing her book right now.
so here's the thing.
Okay.
The what is it called? See, I'm reading this book and I'm forgetting fucking everything
I
as
felt
I'm
that.
reading
I
it.
really have
But
a
what is it called? The magic tree.
tempura?
Tempor?
The tempura.
That.
How'd you get the TH?
I don't know. Okay, I was thinking time. I don't.
The tempor,
it-
yeah.
It was I don't like it. It feels lazy. It
I
feels-
think it's
No,
I think
here's
it's
the thing.
funny.
I think having a magical road trip would be dope. And you know, she set up having these like hidden magical locations. Like the cafe is like a hidden magical location. And so like when I was thinking road trip novel, I was thinking like they are going to visit all these little magical safe havens on the way to all the different places. Because I think that would be such a good way to get a good sense of how magic fits into the world and how
Yeah.
it's built in. But because we have this like Zelda fast travel through the magic forest, it's kind of boring. Like I'm just like, oh, you're just gonna hop in and be right there. Like there's no sense of like they're actually going through it or they're actually like having time or like it's not there's no effort. They just
Can I just say
thought that would've
something?
been Women of Ravens.
I think it's funny how they have to drive through like the forest and not get caught. Like, you don't think it's suspicious? Someone is just a bright
Driving
yellow
through
van
the
is just
forest?
driving through the forest, like straight into the trees. No one sees that. The
Also,
freeway.
Run
also,
straight at the wall
Freeway.
between platforms 9 and 10. You know, like okay.
You're done. You're done.
And
It
then
was
the
that.
erasers just don't.
It was that, and like it's a bright yellow minivan. One and two.
I know.
You have the people watching you, girl. Like,
How
they
did
don't.
they not get in trouble for that?
How come their tires
Magic.
didn't get slashed? How come they lasted in the woods with the please?
Magic,
And their
duh.
belief
It's magic.
magic. Like mad. No, Loki, it was giving Barbie and a Fairytopia, if anyone watched that. Because
Wait, pause. Low key, it was giving Barbie and Fairytopia is what just came out of your mouth.
shout it. Listen, I turned 21 in January. I still watch Barbie movies, okay? Okay?
That's
I-
not the problem. I'm all for a Barbie
You know
movie.
what? Now that you say it, it does remind me of that. Like what the rainbow fairies, and they all come together, and that one bitch is is Cordelia. You know, that's probably why I like this book. It's
That's why
Barbie.
I liked it. We're done.
Like I'm like thinking about it. Yeah, it adds up. It adds up.
It adds- We are a bunch of funny people. Let me find my
Oh
list.
god, there are so many people I don't want to watch this live. The author is one of them.
Nobody's watching this, right? Is there
There's one
anybody
person
live?
watching it.
People
Hi.
usually watch it after. Like the
Yeah,
views
that's fair.
after the live show is crazy.
That's what happens. People don't have time now, but they will have time later, and they
Later.
will
Hello,
clock
later,
us.
people.
Hello, later,
We're losing
people.
our minds right now.
Okay, we've pretty much gone through all my questions, and I think we've kind of beat this to a dead horse at this point.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to talk about spoilers, I can dip out.
Okay, so Blake, the only thing that you're going to, I mean, it's not a spoiler. Just you'll get like a really good monologue explaining everything. Just like a really good monologue to explain
Like
everything.
I
Broadway.
sat through
Alliteration.
3 of them already. Okay, how many?
No,
more-
you're gonna get like a really good villain monologue
the
Yeah.
Australian
at the very
guy?
end.
The fucking
I
Australian
I won't
cat.
say who does it,
He's like,
but just
oh,
know.
I'm named after an alcoholic beverage, Mr. White Claw. Like,
Night.
There's nothing you're gonna miss except meeting the other Guardians. That's it.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's gonna take the rest of the book. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. There was like so much going on in the last 10 pages. I was like, how are they wrapping this up?
10
How is
pages?
this gonna? Yeah. There was so much going on in the last like 10 pages.
Well, they don't wrap it up.
Yeah.
They don't
don't.
wrap it up.
So basically, Eternals.
You're done.
Okay, but Eternals was good.
Amen to that.
Okay. Final reflections, final thoughts before we leave. Our ratings still our ratings after this live stream.
I mean, I'm gonna have to finish the book,
Yeah.
but it's like a 2.
Mm-hmm.
To be convinced Ace this time again.
No,
Oh,
it's okay. Enjoy things. Enjoy things.
No,
No,
literally.
It's 4 out of 5 for the vibes, but like realistically, like it's a 3, you know, like 3, 2.5.
Pour in your heart. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you can enjoy something that lacks quality.
Amen. I watch reality.
I don't know
TV.
what that says about
Yeah.
me.
No,
I don't want
there's
to be rude, but I'm reading this right now, okay?
You know what?
you can
Actually,
enjoy
I'm
things that
fine.
lack quality.
You're right. You know, people read.
That's our
Sarah
new
J.
motto.
Maas.
My only parting reflection is I think this has been my favorite live show so far.
We should do a video or like do a graphic, our favorite live streams by each person. That'll be fun.
Like a compilation at the end of the year. Happy one
Live stream by-
vintage books and
That's too much
wine.
work.
Listen,
We don't have time for that.
Alpha,
We're
we can do
barely
it.
finishing our books here. We don't have time to make
That's
bloopers or gag reels.
true. Oh my god.
Okay.
Call me out, Matthew.
Any more final thoughts and reflections before we head out?
I encourage people to read this book,
Yeah.
to support the author,
Yes.
to build it up so that hopefully it can get some better power behind
Yeah.
it and bring it to a larger audience with a bit more polish.
Yeah, I think, and again, I think this is very much a debut novel. Like, everybody has a first draft, and I feel like this just was one of them. And so I'm really excited to see like what they do going forward, like what other books and what other ideas she comes up with. Because I mean, there are some strong concepts and ideas in here, and I would want to see those developed further in the future. And I'm always willing to give authors usually like 3 chances at least.
That's generous.
It is. There's only one author that I'm probably never going to read again.
What?
We'll talk later.
We read them for the book club.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But no, like normally I'm pretty generous with authors just because like you can see so much growth just reading, one book to like the last book. Like even Brandon Sanderson, one of my favorite authors, like his early books, not the best, but then like his newest books, like holy fuck, and so like I'm always willing to give authors the benefit of the doubt. Like I'm even gonna read that new Christopher Paolini book, the sci-fi book.
Mhm.
I hate Aragon. Terrible.
I
But,
saw.
like I'm willing to give him a chance because I'm like, oh, I'm kind of interested in seeing how they, he's grown as an author over the past 5-10 years or whatever. And I'm pretty much willing to give almost every author that chance just because it's like we all know writing is hard. So,
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know if this type of ending to a live stream is like more condescending and and bad. Therefore, like, is this crueler than us just saying that we didn't like it? I don't know.
No, well, let's be honest. Writing is hard.
yeah.
I'm
It
not a
is.
writer. I know 2 of us are writers at least. You will never get from writing anything. So like the fact that we're able to also a Temple Owl, first and foremost, I'm a Temple Owl as well, is able to write a book, be published, have its fan base already that's going to propel it to being traditionally published. Hopefully, let's hope it's going to be traditionally published because it'll have that team there behind it to see it to fruition, to get those sales and to be on the New York Times list. And I can hope and pray for nothing but the best for Asia Monet because I see it coming to that point. We just have to be there to help it get there, you know? So hopefully this live show will live in infamy, I guess.
I hope
Oh
no
my
one
God,
realizes. I hope
we
this
sound
one
so
person is the
evil.
only person who sees this live.
Listen,
Comment down below who of the four of us is the worst.
I will take it, okay? I'll take it.
I'm the goody two shoes.
Look at it too.
It's not eights. If somebody comments eights, we'll fight.
No, literally,
Yeah,
he's
no.
so sweet. The fuck?
It's so mean.
Guys, I
I'm
sleep
so
with
mean.
so much stuffed toys. Please don't come after me.
She's so pure. Leave her alone, future evil commenters.
Listen, she got the Barbie reference, okay? That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
All you need
Um,
to-
Our next read is going to be Everyone Knows Your Mother is a Witch by Rivka Galchen. It'll be over on my channel, Matthew Sharapa. I started it and I'm really enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
So hopefully it will continue to be good
I'm
and
so
hopefully
excited.
all of you will enjoy it too.
Hey, Matthew,
Yeah.
does it feel like it's going to be a quick read?
Yes. Yeah.
This book
A quick
was so
read. And the audiobook is
expensive.
actually really good. The narrator of the audiobook is fantastic. So highly recommend.
Okay, good to know.
And then December, Ace.
Wait. Where's my book? I don't think I have it here. It's A Wish in the Dark by Christina Soon. Yeah.
Yep.
Talked about it, but I
I'm not gonna try to butcher their name.
It's on our Instagram. And the vibes, Ace is like, I want a nice, warm December found family book. So hopefully we match the vibes with this book pick. And I'm so excited, okay? The last quarter of our picks, I was so excited. I still am excited about these picks. So
On our end of the year live show, we should like rank the books we read throughout the
I'm down
year.
for that. I'm so
Yeah.
down for that.
let's
okay,
do it.
bet. So thank you for coming to Black Veins live show. We apologize to the future haters in the comments of this video. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.